Welcome to Talking Halos. This is Derek Ciapola with my co-host, my partners in crime, Jared Timms and Nate Green. It's almost New Year's. Will it be a depressing New Year for us, or will it be a happy New Year? Jared, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I was gonna actually start off by saying this is probably our last podcast of 2025, but pump the brakes. I don't know yet, so we'll see.
We got one more day.
I do.
Nate,
Yeah, he says that, and then the Angels go sign someone, and we'll see. So, excited to get something out there. Excited to see the Angels do something today, and it's good to see you guys. Hope you had a Merry Christmas.
same to you as well, and Happy New Year to everybody who's listening to the show. We are now completing our 6th year for Talking Halos. 6th year. That's not too shabby. So, the news. The news today is interesting. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, and there was some doubt thrown on it about it actually getting done. And then it happened. Anthony Rendon is not going to be in the team in 2026. They made an agreement to restructure his deal so he can basically retire. They deferred money down the road. I didn't see any terms on how much money is being deferred. Did you guys? I was
Just
looking
3 to 5 years.
furiously. Pardon me?
Just 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years. Now, I'm wondering why not the Rams, the Angels didn't just pay it off and be done. Help me understand. Help the guy who is not a math whiz understand this, Jared, please.
Yes. Okay. I posted this on X. This is just from my understanding. I don't think anybody knows 100% what's going on. Um, Angels will defer money for the next 3 to 5 years. His Anthony Rendon's uh, total salary over that will be 5 to 15% higher. So he's going to get paid 5 to 15% higher because the Angels are deferring out that money. Um, I believe is what I saw in YouTube comments. Go ahead, let me know if I'm getting that wrong. But from my understanding, the luxury tax this year will not change at all. So it's still a 30 something million-dollar cap hit,
38.
$38 million cap hit to this year's luxury tax. But in the eyes of Artie Moreno, the Angels have more money to spend because they are not paying Anthony Rendon as much money this year. Um, However, they will continue to push it over into the next 3 to 5 years, which means Artie Moreno will look at those next 3 to 5 years and dock the Angels free agency from that. So we might not see as much signing from there. But yeah, I mean, I saw somewhere that the Angels could save upwards of 20 to 25 million dollars this year in Artie Moreno eyes. Let's go that way. Not baseball eyes, Artie Moreno eyes. They could save 20 to 25 million dollars this year, which is different than baseball eyes, which us looking at the luxury tax, if that makes sense. Am I making sense, or am I going around in a
Okay, well, let me,
giant
let me make sure I
circle?
clarify this, okay?
Yeah.
Just for the dumb math guy here, the way I'm hearing you say that is the Angels still will have the same cap number or the same number towards the
Correct.
luxury tax,
Correct.
but the actual money is being deferred down the road.
Correct.
So theoretically, that down the road money won't count towards that luxury tax because it's still tacked on
Correct.
this year.
Correct. It won't count towards the Angels luxury tax beyond 2026, but it will count in Artie Moreno's eyes. I think that's the big thing here that people need to remember is you have the baseball eyes, the luxury tax, the AAV, all that stuff, and then you're going to have the Artie Moreno eyes, which if it's over the next 3 to 5 years is what, an extra 10 million to 15 million a year. I don't know if my math is correct on that, but so just remember there's baseball eyes, there's the Artie Moreno eyes.
So why not just suck it up and pay the bill now?
That's
Because
a great question, Derek.
well,
That is
so yes,
that's
I
great.
from a fan standpoint, you would probably want that. From a Perry Manasian and staff right now standpoint, you want to be able to have as much money to spend right now. Only because we're already starting to hear that Artie Moreno is getting a little bit picky on how much money he's going to be able to spend. I mean, I think Basan came out with it already. I think that Heyman said something, which Heyman wasn't true at all. And then I want to say also Robert Murray said something about Artie Moreno is starting to get a little bit stingy on the money side of stuff. So um,
No, no way.
I just this year, I mean, just this year, it sounds like Artie Moreno's starting to get a little bit stingy on the money side of stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, I've said this a couple times already. You have to look at it from a baseball standpoint, which is 2026, and you also have to look at it from an Artie Moreno standpoint, which is the next 3 years and how much, how much Artie Moreno is going to be willing to spend with Rendon still on the books technically. Is he gonna, um slap, slap hands, or, make sure that the next GM, if the Angels do go to a new GM in 2026 or 2027 beyond, now has a little bit of a restraint because Rendon's money is still on the books. But yeah, why wouldn't they do it? Why wouldn't they just do it? Because Perry Minasian wants as much money as he can get to to spend this year. So that's why
Because
they're
he's
they're doing
fighting
it.
for his job, Derek. You got to remember
Yeah,
that. This is the last year of his contract. He is
he's
fighting
fighting for
for
his
his
job.
job.
Sure.
He's got to do whatever he can to put the best team on the field, which I don't think he's done. And you guys will already hear about it, but like I was in the camp of just cut him and pay it. I think that made the most sense. Just cut him, be done with it, move on, give him his 38. I think that this just prolongs the frustration of Angel fans too, because it's like we're still going to hear about this contract for another 3 to 5 years.
I mean, at least
It's dumb.
it's not the Bobby Bonilla payday. But
It's yeah, it's not 25 years, but
but hold on. This is the problem I have with it. You know, I don't want to hear Perry Minasian, this is to save his job. He's had 5 years to save his job. So I know, Jared, you've been looking towards 2026 as this is when the window opens for the team. I know you mentioned that. I'm not sure I agree based off how they've been behaving this offseason. It's been a bunch of reclamation projects, which, hey, if even one of them works out, great, right? But they're not behaving like a team that's going to win now. They're behaving like a team that's running off a lottery tickets trying to buy themselves some time. Why wouldn't they simply, in that case, just eat the contract? And then Perry can go back and say, "Well, Ari, listen, if you are going to restrict how much money I can spend this year, then how can you expect a great product in the field?" And that would be a logical explanation to me in that conversation between the two. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense overall when you look at the money picture. They haven't been active in the regular free agent market. They haven't even been a player for any of these major free agents that we've been aware of. So it's a very confusing thing for me, just kind of sitting outside looking in and going, that makes very little sense. Just pay the guy, get him off your books next year, and a real window opens next year.
Yeah, and again, I agree with that. I would have liked to have seen something like that. Um, but you also there there's a lot in what you just said there. Let me say what I'm thinking first, because with the Angels not being in the news, I think it's a good thing, especially in today's era of social media being used by agents to get as much money as they can. I think it's a good thing that the Angels aren't in any news right now, or significant news, should we say that? Like if we were talking, the Angels are in on Kyle Tucker, Angels are in on, a super big name, even a Cody Bellinger, I'd say, man, I just don't know if that's right. Um, to get on to your thing with, telling Artie that that, all of a sudden the handcuffs are on. The handcuffs have kind of been on Perry and every GM for years now, I think. I don't think that they've ever really had a full say in what they've been able to do for years now. So that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, Perry could have gone and been like, "Hey, yeah, you got to give me another year." But at the same time, you have to look at it as like, Perry's had 6 years to put a winning club on the field, and we're just now getting to a point where it's like, man, I hope the Angels can contend. It's not even like, yeah, the Angels are going to contend this year. It's, I hope the Angels can contend this year. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. All things point to one thing, but at the same time, you got to find a way around that one thing. So,
Derek, you are forgetting one thing too as well. Perry already pushed his chips in because there was a very real chance that Artie Moreno was going to get his way and get Albert Pujols as the manager, and he was going to be like, "Hey, Albert's the manager. Albert doesn't want you as the GM. We're going to find a new GM and move on." But Perry pushed his chips in this year and said, "Hey, Kurt Suzuki's my guy. We're going to do it this year. We're going to win. We're going to give him a 1 year deal because." Just trust me. I'm going to get this done, and you're going to believe in what we're doing after this 1 year. So he's already kind of put his chips in, and when you put your chips at the table, you've gone all in. You got to do what you can to win with whatever hand you got. And I think that's what Artie would say to him is like, bro, you've already put your chips in. Like, I don't care that you're bluffing me here with a two and a king. Like, you better figure out a way to win this hand because if you can't win this hand, like, I'm gonna find somebody else who can.
I mean, all right. What am I gonna say that we're talking about signings, their best signing? I don't know. They just signed Kirby Yates. Yay. A decent reliever. Good reliever, actually, but is that all? I mean, your thoughts, Jared? Kirby Yates.
It's another reclamation project. I've always kind of been a big Kirby Yates fan. Um, but it's kind of another reclamation project. 2025, he wasn't all that good with the Red Sox. He had a 5.23 ERA. The velocity dropped a little bit. 1 for 5. It's nothing that again, I'm going to lose sleep over. And this is exactly the way I would build a bullpen, is what they've done already this year. In the bullpen, I wouldn't go out and sign any huge names for this bullpen. For a bullpen, especially when you have a bunch of other spots open. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm not losing sleep over a Kirby Yates signing by any means. And then also you look at 2024. I think he got Cy Young votes in 2024. He had a 1.17 ERA. He almost had a 2 WAR as a reliever. Um, he won the world. He won. He didn't win a World Series, but dang near won it. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm not losing any sleep over it. It is what it is, and I'm kind of intrigued with the way this Angels bullpen is starting to shape up. It's kind of intriguing, dare I say, but you also need to have a lead to be able to use the bullpen in a good way. So I'd love to see the Angels spend some money on maybe another starting pitcher. The Angels, if a ball's hits if balls hits a left field right now, there's nobody there to
No, no, there
field the
is.
ball.
There's someone there.
I guess. The same thing with center field. If a ball's hit to center field, there's
There's a
not
guy
really
there.
somebody there to get it. Yeah, you can say Teodosio. I mean, Teodosio could probably cover both left and center field, and you'd be okay. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I would be looking at spending money in spots where you know need it. But again, 1 for 5. I'm not losing any sleep over it. I'm excited to see what Kirby Yates can do. If he can return to even half of what he was in 2024, it's going to be a good signing. I can guarantee you.
Thoughts on the signing there, Nate?
The $5 million doesn't really bother me. I'm glad that it's another small deal. Um, Now, is this what they really need to focus on? No, I feel like they've spent a lot of their time this offseason on the relief pitching, and that's great to have really good relievers. But if you don't have a lead, nobody cares who pitches the ninth inning. Like, I mean, we've seen it so many times where the Angels run out there a position player in the ninth inning because they're down by 10 because their starting pitching can't get out of the third inning. So it really doesn't matter to me right now. Like, it's a good deal, $5 million, not going to kill the Angels. Hopefully, he's able to pitch good enough to get flipped at the deadline if the Angels are out of it. The one scary part is if you're not good with the Dodgers, like, who are you going to be good with? Like, he was that bad with the Dodgers last year. Um, what's going to happen to him? He did get hurt in what did he do in September? That a little not too concerning. It was a hamstring issue. So, but I know he did miss some time last year with lower back issues and hamstring issue twice. So he is getting up there in age for a guy who had a bunch of injury issues last year. So hopefully you look at it and go, hey, maybe his hamstring is fully healed. He pitches better, close, maybe in between what he did last year and what he did in Texas. And, it's somewhere in the mid threes ERA and he pitches good. The one thing for him as well that's good for the Angels is he's pitched in the back end of games. The Angels really don't have anyone who's pitched in the back end of games. We don't know if Joyce is going to be healthy opening day. Um, Pomeranz was more of an early guy. Um, I guess you have Romano who would be similar, who's pitched in the back end of games, but he was just as bad and got pretty much was just as bad as Yates. So they've got some pieces, but again, it doesn't really matter if you don't have a lead going into the fifth inning. So That's what they really need to focus on is getting a lead early, and you need starting pitching for that, and your offense needs to be better. So I think that those are the big issues right now.
Now, and hey, just want to point this out. Under Mike Maddox in Texas, Kirby Yates pitched very well. Just want to point that out. Very small thing, and he's back with Mike Maddox now. Just want to point out that connection. I am concerned about what you guys talk about the lineup. I think the bullpen is intriguing. I think some of the reclamation projects on for starting pitching intriguing. Lineup concerned. Who's out there right now that's a fit for them? That's still available. Anybody?
Yeah. Okamoto.
Let's talk about him. Tell us about Okamoto.
Yeah, I don't know. I know all the reports are true. That we're seeing out there. Angels are 1 of 3 teams in on Okamoto still. I know that for a fact. I know offers have been made. Sounds like offers are pretty similar. The one thing I think that stands out with the Angels that I've heard is that they've given him the opportunity to play both third base and left field. Now, he's not a great third baseman as it is. He might be somebody who can play first base pretty well. He's not a great third baseman, so you got to kind of worry about him playing the outfield a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you think he can play the outfield at a average clip, then that's perfectly fine because he's probably going to be a 100 to 110 WRC plus guy that doesn't hit too many home runs. It's a very much so a Nolan Schanuel type of bat. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm intrigued. If the Angels can get him in the, you know, 4 year, 65 to 75 million dollar range, like it's an interesting, very interesting signing for sure. Somebody that can play multiple positions, maybe a little bit better of a Luis Renifo, but at the same time, if Luis Renifo gets less than him, I don't know, like I'm still up on the air with Okamoto. Any Japanese bats that come over, I think that just worries me a little bit. I don't think the bat plays quite as much as the arm does. The Angels, could be someone who sneak in on Tetsuya Imai, but I just think that he's going to get so much money that I just don't think it's going to be worth it. He's going to get in the $30 million range. And that's very worrisome. But you're gonna have to pay for pitching, and I know pitching doesn't age the same as hitting does. The bat speed definitely slows down a lot more the older you get. Where we've seen a lot of good pitchers um, get better with age. I mean, there's been a couple guys that haven't, but I mean, just to name one or two, like Scherzer got pretty good with age. Um, Justin Verlander got pretty good with age. So yeah, those are obviously two Hall of Famers, but I mean, we're still seeing some relatively old pitchers be good the later they get into their career. So it may be worth it to give him 25 to 30 million dollars. I don't know, but I do think that the Angels are very much so in on Okamoto. So we'll kind of see where that goes here in the next couple of days because both of those windows close in the next week, Nate? Less than that, 5 days?
2 days.
2 days now? Damn, man, I haven't paid attention at all.
I think Okamoto's ends the second, so depending on when you put this out.
Gotcha.
Nate, what do you feel about the possibility here?
I'm not as big as of a Okamoto fan as other people. Doesn't play a good third base in my opinion. He's played 9 career games, started 9 career games in the outfield. Like that's a big red flag for me as well. If you're going to be like, hey, guess what? You're going to come here. You're going to learn a completely new language. You're going to learn a completely new way of playing baseball, and you're going to play a new position as well. It's like it's hard enough to get young guys to figure out a new position to
He's
play,
played
let
he's
alone a
played the
guy
out he's played the outfield a little bit. But
9 career starts in the outfield.
played the
That's
outfield.
that's nothing.
That is somebody you can put out in left field. Right now, the Angels don't have somebody to put in left field. So
What do you
not
mean?
saying that he's gonna
Jorge Soler has more career starts in left field than Okamoto. And who knows? They could be the same defensive player. We really don't know.
could
So and at least Jorge Soler has the upside of being better offensively. Obviously, we don't know if he will be. He was very bad last year. Um, but yeah, I think Okamoto is going to get too much money for me to be super excited about. I think the trade market is way better for offense. Honestly, MI would be really interesting. I think that I get that he's short. I get that he's young. But like with what he's got a really good fastball. They're talking about it similar to Joe Ryan. He's got a low slot similar to Luis Castillo. And like honestly, if you're getting a Luis Castillo in his prime at 26 with where he was with Cincinnati, that was a legitimate ace. That was the top of the rotation guy. Um, and obviously we don't know. He could be awful. Like he could have a Suzuki type of year where it's like, oh man, he's not even like a starting pitcher at the end of the year. But I think that with where the Angels are and with what they've been able to do with starting pitching lately, like you got to take a risk sometime. And I think that this is a healthy risk to take on a young guy that throws really, really hard with good stuff. So I think I'd rather put my risk there on a pitcher. Like Jared said, pitchers from Japan have done way better coming over than hitters have. So I think that he becomes a guy that could be a top of the rotation guy. You have him, you have Rod, you have Soriano, Kikuchi as your 1, 2, 3, 4. It ends up looking pretty good if you are able to find a way to sneak into a postseason. It's like, hey, if you're in a postseason, that means Amai threw well, that means Rod threw well, Soriano, Kikuchi, like that all of a sudden looks like a potential. You're looking at AL teams and you're like, hey, we can match up with most of these teams. So they need that. And so I think unless you're going to pay more for Suarez or you're going to pay more for Framber, and I don't really want to deal with Framber's attitude. I don't really want to
Mm.
go get Suarez, a guy who's been hurt up and down, good, bad, whatever. And I think it'd be nice to get another right-handed pitcher in there, just because I don't love having 3, 4 lefties in the rotation. But so I don't know. I think that I'm willing to take the risk on the pitcher over the hitter right now and go to the trade market and go get an outfielder and a third baseman.
Anybody else in the Asian market right now that you guys are interested in?
Yeah, but he's not coming over.
No.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's it. That's all we got today. Follow Jared on X at Jared_Tims. Follow Nate Green 34. Follow me at DC Apollo. Follow Talking Halos at Talking Halos. And the next time we meet, it'll probably be the new year. Happy New Year, everyone.